The previous video covered the use of resource libraries in your estimation projects and explained the significance of resource types, groups, and sequence numbers. In this video, we'll create a new resource price list and add some resources to it. So the addition of resource price lists happen in the resource library window here. And we need to give the resource price list a number and a name. I'll just use the date as the number, and the name can be example price list. The price list has been created, and it's the first one. Still missing the hierarchy and a couple of other things, so let's edit it. The first thing to do is to add the resource types from 1 to 5, in this case, to our resource price list. And once you add all these resource types, you need to connect them to the different classification systems. So number 1, work in our resource price list, corresponds to work in all our classification systems, of which 2 are in Finnish. Let's add material and connect it to material resource types in our classification systems. Okay, pause the video for a second and connect the rest together. So this is what the end result should look like. The next thing to do is to add the resource categories of the price list. And you can export a previous resource category from another price list and then import it here, which I think is the easiest way, or you can create your own and then import it here. But anywho, you do it in Excel. So let's open the Admicom resource price list and export the categories from there and then import them here. Let's open the Admicom resources and export resource categories of the price list. Let's look at the Excel next. Okay, so this is what the Excel looks like. On the first column, you have the name of the price list. In the next, you should have your resource types, then the main groups of your resource groups, then the subgroups, and finally the description. So if we take a look at how this Excel is built, we first have the work groups that are shown here. And then below that are the main groups of materials. The work doesn't go any further than that, so these are it for the work. But then for material, the next 1,000 or so rows are about materials. So for example, here we have the land and regional construction products, under which you can find the mining and foundation products that are shown here. So the second level. And under mining, which is the group 11, you can find explosives and fracture cements. And under foundation products, you can find paling, pile extensions, soil consolidation, and so on. And under paling, you can find wooden piles, concrete piles, and so on. So it's a bit of a complicated Excel to fill, but you can always get an example from us, and at least in the beginning, you may not need this many categories. You could perhaps start with just these, for example. To get this working in the new price list, we need to change this first column to correspond to the new price list we created. So let's just overwrite the previous information here. As you can see, there are quite a few categories like that. And then we just save this Excel, close it, and import it from here. Like that. no error message, which means our example price list has now the same categories as the other price lists. Now we have everything else but the resources in our new price list. So to get the resources into the price list, we need to edit it once again, and we can, well, the same logic applies. So you can export a previous price list and then import it from an Excel to here. Let's see what kind of price list we get if we export just the empty price list. The Excel looks like this. So we have a lot of columns here. We have the price list name, resource type, resource group, sequence number, name, unit, price, discount, percentage, discount, discounted price, currency, if there's and then some additional things which are not that important. I'll just copy paste from another Excel some resource information here, like this. So you see how it's filled. The resource type, group, sequence number, name, units, prices. I'm not having any discounted prices here, so the price with discount is exactly the same as the price. These are quite important. So we have the valid until date here, and then the date of change here. And then you can have the supplier here. If you have an EAN code, you can add that. Or if you have your own contract information or your own IDs for these resources, you can use them here. But before we can upload these resources to our new price list, we'll still need once again to add the price list name here, or number. This is usually where you get an error message if you forget to do this. And since I copied this from another price list, I'll need to delete the internal ID, which is the resources I copied here already exist in another price list, so I cannot have the same internal ID. But this is the end result you should at least in minimum have when uploading your resources. Let's see if I can get it in. I'll just close the Excel, and then we import resources of price list here, like this. Yes, the price list is updated. We have our new prices here, and you can see that the Admicom price list just follows up on the 2709 price list right here. To update the prices in your new price list, you can either zoom a little bit out and then click on the resource and just adjust the price here. For example, like this. It has been changed and there's the handler name now. Or perhaps better way to do it is exporting the prices once again to Excel and then adjusting the Excel like this, adding new rows, adjusting the Excel that I just exported again, adding new rows or changing the prices here, and then just uploading the Excel back to the price list again. That concludes the video on resources. Slightly longer and more complicated than the other videos, so most of these administrative duties should be left for the super users of the company. Not everybody needs to operate in this window, and not everybody should operate in this window, to avoid confusion.